All perfection is achieved not when there is nothing left to add, but when there is nothing left to take away. Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. Have you ever stopped to count how many notifications you receive each day? How many decisions do you have to make before you even leave the house? How many tasks are on your to-do list right now? And here's the most important question. When was the last time you felt truly at peace, without that feeling that you should be doing something more productive? Why do we feel guilty about doing nothing? Why does a lazy Sunday feel like a waste when we could be optimizing our time? What if I told you that the answer to your exhaustion isn't to do more, but to do radically less? If you'd like to support this channel, consider becoming a supporter on Patreon. You'll have access to all videos, ad-free and exclusive content. And don't forget, there's a full ebook in the pinned comments that delves deeper into everything we'll discuss today. The collapse of attention. We live in an extraordinary time of paradoxes. We've never had so many time-saving tools, and we've never felt so time-poor. We've never had so much access to information, and we've never felt so confused about what truly matters. We've never had so many entertainment options, and we've never felt so bored. The modern world has sold us a seductive lie. The idea that we can have it all, do it all, be it all. More than that, they've convinced us that we should to have, do, and be everything. Otherwise, we are wasting our potential. We are being lazy. We are failing. Look at your own life. How many apps do you have on your phone? How many streaming service subscriptions? How many books have you bought but haven't read yet? How many online courses have you started but abandoned? How many projects have you started enthusiastically and left half-finished? This isn't laziness. This isn't a lack of discipline. This is cognitive overload. This is decision fatigue. This is the inevitable result of living in a culture that glorifies excess and demonizes just enough. Psychologist Barry Schwartz coined the term paradox of choice to describe how too many options, contrary to what we might think, doesn't liberate us. It paralyzes us. Every choice we make drains our mental energy. Every possibility we consider takes up precious space in our consciousness. And at the end of the day, we feel exhausted without having accomplished anything substantial. The tyranny of more. Our society operates under a fundamental premise. More is always better. More money, more productivity, more experiences, more connections, more knowledge. More. This mindset permeates every aspect of our lives. At work, it's not enough to be competent. You need to be extraordinary. You need to be constantly learning new skills, networking, working on side projects, and building your personal brand. The ideal employee never stops. They answer emails at 11 p.m. They work They're weekends. Always on. In your personal life, having relationships isn't enough. You need to have a vibrant social circle, attend events, stay in touch with dozens of people, and always be available. The ideal person has friends, family, acquaintances, and an active online community. They're never alone because being alone means something is wrong. In health, it's not enough to just avoid illness. You need to be optimized. You need to have the perfect diet, the ideal exercise routine, sleep exactly 8 hours, meditate, do yoga, take supplements, and monitor your health indicators. The ideal body is a perfectly tuned machine that never fails. And on social media, well, that's where more reaches its peak. More likes, more followers, more engagement. Your life needs to be interesting enough to be shared. Your experiences need to be photogenic. Your success needs to be visible. Otherwise, did it really happen? This tyranny of more turns us into hamsters on a never-ending wheel. We run faster and faster, but we stay in the same place. And most tragically, we forget why we're running. Essentialism, the philosophy of less but better. In contrast to this culture of excess, there is an ancient philosophy that is resurfacing with full force: essentialism. Greg McKeown, in his book Essentialism, The Disciplined Pursuit of Less, articulates what many ancient philosophers already knew. Wisdom lies not in doing more, but in doing fewer things with greater excellence. Essentialism isn't about doing more things. It's about doing the right things. It's about doing less, but better. It's about investing in fewer opportunities, but the right ones. It's about having fewer relationships, but deeper ones. It's about owning fewer things, but things that truly matter. This philosophy is not new. Roman Stoics like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca practiced what they called concentration on essentials. They understood that our attention is our most valuable resource, and that wasting it on trivialities is wasting our own lives. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have little time, but that we waste so much of it. Life is long enough, and a sufficiently generous amount has been given us for the highest achievements if all of it is well invested. But when it is wasted in unnecessary luxury and spent on nothing good, we are forced at last by the final inevitability of death to realize that it has passed before we realized it was passing." Essentialism invites us to ask difficult questions. Is this really essential? Does this bring me closer to who I want to be? If I weren't already committed to this, how much effort would I put into getting involved now? What am I willing to give up to have time and energy for what really matters? These questions are uncomfortable because they force us to confront our choices. They force us to admit that we can't have it all. And in a culture that promises us we can have it all, that admission feels like defeat. But it's not. It's liberation. The courage to choose essentialism demands something our modern culture tries to rob us of. The courage to choose. Not just what to do, but what not to do. Not just saying yes, but having the strength to say no. Warren Buffett, one of the most successful investors in history, attributes his success not to the opportunities he seized, but to those he turned down. He understood early on that true power lies not in being open to everything, but in being selective with your choices. Steve Jobs, when he returned to Apple in the 1990s, didn't save the company by creating more products. He saved it by killing products. He reduced dozens of product lines to just 4. His philosophy was clear. Focusing doesn't mean saying yes to the one thing you're going to focus on. It means saying no to the hundreds of other good ideas out there. But for us, ordinary people, how does this translate? It means that when someone invites you to yet another social engagement and you're already exhausted, you have permission to say no. No need to make excuses. No is a complete sentence. This means that when another freelance opportunity comes along, but you can barely manage what you already have, you might decline. More money isn't worth your sanity. This means you can leave WhatsApp groups that drain your energy. You can cancel subscriptions you don't use. You can unfollow people on social media who make you feel inadequate. It means you can have a to-do list with 3 items instead of 30 and feel good about it. The power to choose is also the power to eliminate. And eliminating isn't giving up, it's prioritizing. FOMO syndrome and the fear of enough. But why is it so hard to do less? Why do we feel guilty when we're not producing, optimizing, or achieving? The answer lies in one of the most prevalent psychological phenomena of our time: FOMO, fear of missing out. Social media has amplified this fear to pathological levels. Every photo we see, every shared achievement, every documented experience sends us a subliminal message. You should be doing this too. Did someone post photos of an amazing trip? You feel like your life is boring. Did someone share a new course certificate? You feel like you're falling behind? Did someone announce a promotion? You question your own worth? But here's the truth. No one wants to admit. Everyone is tired. Behind those perfectly curated photos, there are exhausted people trying to maintain an image. Behind those shared achievements, there are anxious people wondering if they're enough. Behind those smiles, there's an entire generation on the brink of burnout. The problem isn't that you're doing less than everyone else. The problem is that everyone is doing far more than they should, and we're collectively marching toward collapse. The antidote to FOMO is something our culture considers almost heretical: accepting that you're going to miss out. And that's okay. You'll miss parties. You'll miss opportunities. You'll miss trends. You'll miss online discussions. You'll miss episodes of TV shows. You'll miss events everyone's talking about. And you know what? Your life will go on. And it will probably get better. Because while you're losing these things, you're gaining something much more valuable: your life back. Minimalism as a liberating practice. Minimalism is often misunderstood as an aesthetic: empty white apartments, 10-piece closets, a life devoid of color and personality. But minimalism, at its core, isn't about having fewer things. It's about having space for more life. Joshua Fields Milburn and Ryan Nicodemus, known as the Minimalists, define minimalism as a tool for getting rid of the excess in life in favor of focusing on what's important, so you can find happiness, fulfillment, and freedom. Think about your home. How many objects do you own that you haven't used in months, years? How many clothes in your closet do you never wear? How many books on your bookshelf do you never read? How many hobby items have you enthusiastically purchased and then abandoned? Each of these objects carries a psychological weight. Each represents an unmade decision, an unfinished project, a version of yourself that never materialized. Looking at them drains your energy, even if you don't consciously realize it. Marie Kondo popularized the question, does this bring me joy? But perhaps the most important question is, does this serve the life I want to live right now? Not the life you imagined for yourself in the past. Not the life others expect of you. The life you, in this moment, genuinely want to live. When you remove the excess, something magical happens. You don't just free up physical space, you free up mental space. You free up emotional energy. You free up time. And in that space, you can finally breathe. Digital minimalism follows the same logic. How many notifications do you receive per day? How many apps do you open out of habit, without even knowing why? How much time do you spend scrolling through endless feeds, absorbing information that adds nothing to your life? Cal Newport, in his book, Digital Minimalism, argues that we need to treat our digital attention with the same care we treat our physical diet. Just as we wouldn't eat anything offered to us, we shouldn't consume any content that appears in front of us. Try this. For a week, delete all social media apps from your phone. Keep only what's essential for communication and work. Notice how you feel. Notice how much time you suddenly have. Notice how your mind becomes less agitated. Most people who try this experiment report two things. First, an initial discomfort, almost like withdrawal. Second, after a few days, a feeling of relief they haven't felt in years. The power of boredom and contemplation. In our hyper-connected culture, boredom has become something to be avoided at all costs. Have 5 free minutes. We pick up our phones, waiting for the elevator. We check our email, in line at the grocery store. We scroll through Instagram. Every small gap of unscheduled time is immediately filled with digital stimulation. But what are we losing by eliminating boredom from our lives? Boredom is not the enemy. It's a gateway. It's in boredom that the most creative thoughts emerge. It's in aimless contemplation that we process our experiences. It's in moments of doing nothing that we truly know ourselves. History's great thinkers weren't constantly productive. Einstein walked. Thoreau observed nature. Darwin had his thought path, where he walked every day, aimlessly, just thinking. They understood that creativity and mental clarity come not from constant effort, but from the space between efforts. When was the last time you just sat down and did nothing? No phone, no book, no music, nothing. Just sat down and let your mind wander? For most of us, the answer is, I don't remember, and that's a problem. Because it's in these moments of apparent boredom that our minds do their most important work. It's when we process emotions, when we consolidate memories, when we make creative connections, when we discover how we truly feel about things. By eliminating boredom, we eliminate our internal processing capacity. We become like computers that never shut down, accumulating programs running in the background until they inevitably crash. Contemplation, the deliberate act of doing nothing, is not a luxury. It's a necessity. It's mental maintenance. It's psychological hygiene. The optimization trap. There's a growing movement around the idea of biohacking, optimizing every aspect of your biology for maximum performance. Specific supplements, elaborate sleep protocols, cold exposure, intermittent fasting, constant biomarker monitoring. The promise is tempting. Become the best version of yourself. But what if this relentless pursuit of optimization is itself the problem? Philosopher Byung-Chul Han argues that we live in a weariness society, where we become our own slave masters, exploiting ourselves more efficiently than any external system could. The modern worker doesn't need a cruel boss. They are cruel to themselves. Optimization turns everything into a project. Your body is a project. Your mind is a project. Your relationships are projects. Your spirituality is a project. There's no aspect of human life that escapes the where it can always be improved mentality. But here's the problem. You're not a piece of software that needs constant updates. You're a human being, and human beings need rest, imperfection, spontaneity, and occasional inefficiency. Life is not a problem to be optimized. It's an experience to be lived. When you turn everything into a metric to be maximized, you lose sight of the very point of existence. A dinner with friends stops being about connection and becomes about not ruining your diet. A walk in nature stops being about presence and becomes about achieving your daily steps. Even meditating becomes a task on your productivity list. That's not living, that's managing. And there's a huge difference. The wisdom of enough. So how do we escape this trap? How do we find peace in a world that constantly bombards us with messages that we are not enough, that we are not doing enough, that we do not have enough? The answer lies in rediscovering a concept that our consumer society works hard to make us forget: enough. Enough isn't mediocrity. It's not giving up on growth or improvement. It's recognizing that there's a point where more doesn't mean better. It's understanding that you can be ambitious in the things that truly matter to you, while accepting good enough in everything else. You don't have to be exceptional at everything. In fact, you can't be. It's mathematically impossible, and trying to be is a guaranteed recipe for burnout. Author David Kane has a brilliant concept: the 80% rule. In most areas of your life, 80% is good enough. Your home might be 80% organized. Your work presentation might be 80% polished. Your dinner might be 80% healthy, and that's all fine. Reserve your excellence, your 100%, for the few things that truly, genuinely matter to you. For everything else, 80% frees you to have a life. This isn't laziness, it's wisdom. It's understanding that perfectionism is often procrastination in disguise. It's recognizing that done is better than a perfect, most of the time. Redesigning your life. So how do you actually implement this? How do you move from a life of excess to an essentialist life? First, you need to do a brutal audit of your life. Grab a notebook and list everything. All your recurring commitments, all your current projects, all your subscriptions and memberships, all your hobbies and activities, all your goals and ambitions. Now comes the hard part. For each item, ask yourself, if I weren't already committed to this, how much effort would I put into getting involved now? If the answer is not at all, you have your first candidate for elimination. If the answer is maybe, ask yourself, is this getting me closer to the life I genuinely want to live? Be honest. Don't answer based on who you think you should be or who others expect you to be. Answer based on who you really are, right now. You'll discover that many of the things in your life are there not because you chose them, but because you didn't have the courage not to choose them. They're there out of inertia, social obligation, fear, guilt, but not by genuine choice. Now, delete. Yes, literally delete. Cancel commitments. End projects. Leave groups. Cancel subscriptions. Decline invitations. You'll feel guilty. You'll feel afraid. You'll feel like you're giving up, like you're being selfish, like you're letting people down. This discomfort is normal. It's the process of reconnecting with your true priorities after years of living according to other people's priorities. But on the other side of this elimination is something precious: space. Mental space, temporal space, emotional space. Space to breathe, to think, to be. The silent revolution of less. There's something revolutionary happening. Amidst the constant din of more, a growing number of people are quietly choosing less. They're leaving stressful jobs for simpler lives. They're moving to smaller towns. They're downsizing. They're quitting social media. They're saying no. These people aren't giving up on success, they're redefining it. For them, success is no longer measured in salary, status, or followers. It's measured in peace, presence, purpose, quality time with people they love, and meaningful work. This isn't a noisy revolution. There are no marches or manifestos. It's a revolution made one choice at a time, one person at a time, choosing to step out of the rat race and walk at their own pace. And perhaps that's what the world needs most right now. Not more people trying to do more, but more people having the courage to do less. Because when you do less, you live more. When you own less, you have more freedom. When you seek less, you find more meaning. When you become less busy, you become more present. The life you're looking for isn't on the other side of more achievements. It's on the other side of fewer distractions. Your journey starts now. So here's my invitation to you. Start small. Don't try to revolutionize your entire life tomorrow. That would be, ironically, contrary to the spirit of essentialism, yet another massive self-optimization project. Instead, pick one area. Maybe it's your digital space. Maybe it's your closet. Maybe it's your calendar. Pick one area and start eliminating the excess. Notice how you feel. Notice the space that emerges. Notice the clarity that emerges when there's less noise. And then, gradually, expand. Let simplicity spread organically through your life, not as an obligation, but as a loving choice toward what truly matters. Remember, you don't have to be extraordinary. You don't have to be productive all the time. You don't have to optimize every aspect of your existence. You can simply be. And that's not only enough, it's wonderful. Life is too short to waste it on things that don't matter. It's too short to live up to other people's expectations. It's too short to always be tired, always rushing, always chasing the next goal. It is long enough, though, for some deeply important things: to genuinely love, to create meaning, to be truly present, to find peace. And it all starts with the courage to do less. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to delve deeper into this topic and discover practical strategies for implementing essentialism in every area of your life, be sure to check out the full ebook available in the pinned comments. There you'll find practical exercises, decision-making frameworks, and a step-by-step guide to redesigning your life around what truly matters. See you in the next video.